This is Biafra Television, exposing the lies.
Have a good evening, my brothers and sisters. Anyone who refers to Nigeria as a state and what has been happening in Nigeria since 1970 as government is telling an unpardonable lie. Since 1967, Nigeria has not existed as a state and has not had a government. Nigeria has been run by a large band of organized criminals. It has only existed as a platform for the perpetuation of organized crimes. Since 1967, the band of organized criminals headed by prominent members of the Tiv federal gang comprising Yoruba, Hausa, Fulani, Tiv, Jukon, Bini, Gawari, Angas, Noob, Kanuri army officers who fought against Biafra during the Nigeria-Biafra war. Yoruba traditional rulers called Obas, prominent Yoruba and Bini politicians and intellectuals and prominent members of the Sokoto clan hand, including northern emirs, top politicians, top civil servants and their lieutenants, and a handful of misguided, disgruntled, hardcore criminals, outcasts, recruited from among the Efik, Ibibio, Igbo, Lijau, Ogoja, Etsekiri, Asan, Urhobo, have been running this criminal enterprise called Nigerian government. They have successfully decided with the international community and the ordinary people in Nigeria into calling this Tiv criminal gang government rather than what it actually is, a truly criminal enterprise, a violent criminal syndicate. For 41 years, his Tiv criminal gang has beaten the peoples in Nigeria so far into the dust that they have been conditioned not to expect much, in fact not to expect anything good at all from these criminals. Like any others violent criminals enterprise, this criminal syndicate has relied heavily on intimidation, mindless brutality, murder, rape, starvation, corruption, and every conceivable form of violence, coercion to continue to perpetuate their fraud and criminal enterprise. Sadly, the international community has bought into this fraud and accorded to criminal syndicate in Nigeria the status of government, a situation that has provided members of the criminal syndicate cover to continue to perpetuate their crimes and now to export them to other countries of the free world, including Europe and America, Asia, everywhere. To Turkey, it is therefore not a surprise that in all corners of the world today, the name Nigeria or anything associated with that name is synonymous with mind-boggling crime and shocking criminally, and generated in people around the world the imagery and palpable fear and loathing of notorious criminals who must be avoided or chased away at all costs and by any means necessary. In Nigeria, every activity, economic, political, social, military, administrative, cultural, etc., revolves around this criminal syndicate. During the day, members of this criminal gang shake down the poor people of Nigeria. At night, armed robbers sponsored by the same criminal gang shake down the poor people of Nigeria. The armed robbers and the criminal gang are one and the same. The Nigerian criminal syndicate, including Olusegun, Obasanjo, Theophilus, Danjuma, Yaraduwa, Murtala Muhammad, Babangida, Apache, Shagari, Benjamin, Adekunle, collectively they destroyed whatever was left of Nigeria. Education, industry, trade, transport, economic development, political development, all have been destroyed and left in tatters. Why there is still federal terrorist schools in Nigeria? They have to transfer all these schools to the Turkish government, but they didn't do it. What does it mean is that it should really not have come as a surprise to anyone that Nigeria is no more. Look at the people parading themselves as leaders of Nigeria since 1967. Yakubu Gowon, Obasanjo, Muhammad, Shagari, Buhari, Babangida, Yaraduwa, Domkat Bali, John Shagaya, all vertical illiterates and common rogues. Look at the governors. Today we have in Nigeria governors who forge first school leaving certificate and secondary school certificate in order to qualify to be selected as governor or to be made minister. We have governors who claim to have studied and earned bachelor's, master's and doctoral degree in England, Canada, the United States and other places when they have never seen the inside of a university classroom. They became governors, ministers, head of the state and presidents, and shamelessly have the prefix doctor affixed to their names. They are the same people who between 1967 and 1970 allotted the personal effects of Digbo and other people in Biafra, beds, mattresses, carpets, cars, motorcycles, bicycles, pots and pans, plates, silverware, even brooms. Loaded this in trailers and took them to their homes in northern and western Nigeria. Cheap, common Davis who know nothing else but banditti. This is why Nigeria has become the world's training camp for high-time criminals and conscienceless rogues, from the presidents of Nigeria to ministers, governors, senators, representatives, bankers, to local councilmen. The surest way to become a member of the government of Nigeria is to have been a convicted felon with a long criminal record, a notorious armed robber, a heartless drug dealer and murderer, a sadistic conman and money launderer, and a virtual prostitute ready to hop in bed with every criminal in Nigerian government. Which there is good is different. A typical example of one such scum of the earth is the madman called Theophilus Danjuma, the schizophrenic who in 1999 armed himself with pistols and was running around naked in Lagos and like down quicksand, threatening to shoot at imaginary enemies. Nigeria made him Minister of Defense. Few weeks ago, he, in an interview with a correspondent of the Guardian newspaper, repeated what has been common knowledge since 1966, that he was the one who killed the first general of the Nigeria Army, General Agudi Ironsi, a general who earned his rank from his brilliant performance commanding United Nations troops in the Congo in 1960. This scum of the earth called Danjuma, this megalomaniac, this illiterate, this disgraceful traitor who murdered his commanding officer, the officer he was assigned to protect. This shameless vampire traitor had the guts to refer to General Ironsi as a useless task clerk general. What can we say about this man, this madman, this traitor, this vagabond, this shameless General Danjuma, who earned his rank of general by ambushing and murdering innocent babies, pregnant women, children, unarmed men running for their dear lives from northern Nigeria military and the civilian crazy mobs that had slaughtered thousands of innocent people all over the northern Nigeria. Yes, T.Y. Danjuma became a general by stopping the train carrying refugee women and children at Makurdi and slaughtering thousands of unarmed babies, children, women and men in those trains. Congratulations, great general of the Nigerian army, the war hero of Nigeria, the great traitor who killed his commanding officer and then went on to kill babies. This fool acknowledges that he is an idiot, but then tries to prop himself up by saying that he has native intelligence, Look at the Nigeria and see where the native intelligence of his ilk has led Nigeria to degradation and ruin. Nigeria has become the laughing stock of the world, the butt of jokes all over the world, where criminal, Danjuma, crazy man enjoy your one Nigeria, ewu Hausa. But, sorry, but do you blame this buffoon for trashing General Aguidi Ironsi memory, for urinating on his grave? No. The Igbo, the people of Biafra, and especially Aguidi Ironi's family gave him the opportunity to insult the memory of Ironsi. Wasn't Ironsi's son eating and drinking and hobnobbing with the same people who murdered his father in the most gruesome circumstances? Yes, he was. They waved ministerial posts in front of him and he ran to them and became Minister of State for Defense. Where is he now? Can you imagine inviting? Can you imagine? Inviting the son of Ahmedo Bello or Abu Bakr Tawawa Bilawa to a party with the family of Chukuma Znogwu or Emmanuel Ifajuna. They will spit in your face, and if they can, they will kill you on the spot. Our people have. Our people have made themselves, Wasn't Ojikalo, or as governor of Abia, who called on the Igbo to apologize to the Hausa for defending ourselves against genocide, and he was saying that from a few feet away from the grave of General Aguiyi Ironsi, see how the Igbo have made themselves the doormat of Nigeria. As the wise Igbo people of old would say, Onya Atu Guburu Naya Anaghi Eji Pi Atu Ano Manya Nigbo, di Biafra, di Wara Ucheha Chekaria, di Anwakiha Suzukhariwa, di Ihu Rihi. Now let us talk about the legal judgment handed down by the presidential election tribunal on Monday, February 25, 2008. The four so-called judges who delivered this nonsensical verdict are James Ogenji Ogebe, Raphael Chikwe Agbo, Abu Bakr Abdul Qadir Jega, and Umani Abaji. No one should ever address these four stooges as justices. From now, they will be addressed as stooges. Note that few weeks before they were delivered this so-called judgment, Parawa Umaru Yaraduwa promoted Stooge James Ogabe to the Supreme Court. These four stooges have no shame. They did not know that justices, lawyers, and even ordinary people in the major democracies all over the world were watching them. One of the international observers that came and observed the election in April 2007 was shocked when he read the report of the judgment. This international election monitor, retired judge who had observed elections in other countries, called his African friends, who is also a judge, to confirm if it is true that the judge in Nigeria upheld the same presidential election that he observed, an election that he and his colleagues declared a non-election because there was really no election. When his friend confirmed that what he read was true, he asked if Nigeria judge actually go to law school and study law, or whether Nigerian judges are picked at political rallies. When told about Yaradua's promotion of Stooge James Ogebe, this retired judge simply shook his head, threw his hands up in the air and exclaimed, "Africans, these judges must believe that the people of Nigeria are fools and dummies. That is why an election which Umar Yar'Adua himself, the so-called president, admitted was badly rigged. An international election monitor judge to be the worst in the history of democratic elections, and election even 6-year-old school children recognize it as fraudulent. It is that same election that the election tribunal concluded was free and fair, and Yar'Adua and Jonathan were duly elected. The whole world has seen with their eyes what justice is made of in Nigeria. Bags of money from the president to the judges. Legal decisions are based on how big your bag of money is. Neither the judges or Yar'Adua are deceiving anyone. Everyone in Nigeria and Biafra knows that there was no presidential election in Nigeria in 2007. No one is decided, and no one is buying the charade of these judges. After all, didn't another set of judges who call themselves judges not declare recently that a governorship election which will be held in 2010 has already been won by their Emmanuel Obasanjo's houseboy. As for us, Biafrans, we are not interested in the mockery Nigerians are making of justice. No, Biafrans are committed to one thing and one thing only, and that is the fight for self-determination for the people of Biafra. That fight will be intensified and it will be ongoing. The provisional government of Biafra has called on all Biafrans to become resolute, to intensify their efforts and to persevere in the execution of the struggle for the self-determination of our people. No price is too high for your freedom and for justice. So let's get to work. May God bless the good people of Biafra and the sovereign independent state of Biafra. Thank you very much for listening and kind attention. Hope to see you in freedom very soon. Thank you.